Hi viewers, I'm your host Aqeel Emmanuel and I welcome you to the Aqeel Show. Today's topic is very interesting. Today's topic is about magic to all of us, which is about Disney. And the topic is what makes Disney so timeless. I have a very special guest. She is from California and she came here for study in BYU, Hawaii. And she gave me an opportunity to interview her about Disney movies. Her name is Victoria. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Hi, Aqeel. I'm doing amazing.
That's great. How was your day going so far?
Tiring. Only had 4 hours of sleep, but I made it through with just strength and food and pettiness to get through the day.
That's great. So, before I start my podcast, Victoria, I would like you to introduce yourself to my viewers about your family, about your education, and about your culture.
All right. Well, I come from a mixed family. My mom's Romanian, half French. My dad is American, but he was born in Washington, so he's been all over the country. Let's see, my education. I grew up having private education my entire life,
Okay.
from private preschool to private kindergarten, to charter middle school, and then charter private high school. Now I'm in a private university.
That's great.
Yeah, I came through upper class family.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is rich, dad's rich, family's rich because of their jobs and careers.
Wow.
I grew up having a comfortable childhood, and I
Okay.
have a comfortable life now.
Mm-hmm.
My family's culture. I come from a very diverse family. I have a brother-in-law from Haiti. I
Mm-hmm.
have a sister-in-law from Albania. My mom's Romanian, so I get a lot of Romanian culture in my life
Wow.
and youth. Um,
So it means that in your family you have so many different culture in your family, right?
mhm.
So how many different cultures are there in your family? Like how many people are from different country or different cultures?
Okay, so brother-in-law who's married to my oldest sister. He's from Haiti. Ex-sister-in-law is from Albania. I have a sister-in-law who is from Iran, I believe, or
Mm-hmm.
Iraq, but she's Persian.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Of course, my mom is Romanian, half French, but more Romanian on the Slavic side.
Wow.
My older brother Byron served in the Philippines, so
Mm-hmm.
he experienced the Philippine culture and still knows Tagalog. My dad served his mission in Japan for 2 years, 50 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very engrossed in Japanese culture. Um,
That's amazing. That's amazing. I really like it. Like you have so many diversity in your family, huh? All
mhm,
right. Thank you so much for sharing this.
of course.
Let's start my podcast. So, Disney movies always seems to teach us something important. But what about Disney characters? What makes character like Mickey Mouse, Elsa, and Simba so iconic?
Well, they all essentially face personal challenges in their own life. I mean, as an adult, we get to relate with what the things that they go on. For example, Elsa has to face this difficulty with being different. She has this power she's not able to control because she didn't have the resources as a child or the people to help her control her magic. So
Mm-hmm.
she goes through this entire life being isolated after accidentally hurting her sister and nearly killing her own sister, which is a traumatic experience. And I know that there are a lot of people out there who have similar traumatic experiences. Um, for um, for children, when they see Elsa, they just see this pretty ice queen, pretty lady that sings.
Yep.
Um, and for children, they like seeing the magic. They like seeing the beauty of that character. You know, they have an innocent outlook on that
That's
character.
true.
And that goes for all characters except for the villains. But as we get older, we get to have a more understanding of the villains, and
Yes,
we love to hate them, but we also love to understand them too.
that's true.
Um, for characters like Simba, he had to deal with his dad dying in front of him, having being forced to have this blame of he's the reason why his dad died, and then having to run away, essentially forgetting who he was, and then he has to go through this whole journey of reclaiming his identity and then coming back and fighting for what is his.
I love that. Disney characters really do stay with us throughout our lives. And then there's the music. How do you think Disney songs add to its magic?
Well, one, if you look into the just the beauty behind the how they create the music, it invokes different emotions because it's saying something without actually saying something, especially when it comes to the instrumental music.
Mhm.
I mean, I love listening to Disney music. The words, even just without the words, like it invokes a way for me to connect with those scenes. Like, um, what's one of my favorite songs? Let's see. There's Go Beyond from the new Moana 2 movie. That
Mhm.
one is a really great song because it teaches and essentially and inspires you that you need to go beyond your home shores, which essentially is what she did in her first movie. But now she's going even farther and beyond that because now she has to reclaim and reunite the people of Oceania who are, you know, being
Yes,
trapped by the storm god.
that's true, exactly. Disney songs are so powerful. Now let's talk about Disney theme parks. What makes themes so special? Why do people keep coming back to Disney parks?
Because well, you have to understand it from a like outer perspective and you have to look deeper. When we watch the movies, that's basically it. Like we aren't able to go into those movies and experience like the magic of them. The
Yes.
theme parks exist because they're essentially the movies brought to life. Disneyland Anaheim is the original park and is my home park because I grew up in San Diego, which was
Okay.
an hour or so half away.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and growing up you experience it, the you go there and you meet the characters. Like, yes, of course there are people working as those characters, but they get engrossed and they become the characters. And for kids, it's like meeting their heroes in real life. And for me as an adult, even though I know for a fact that this is just probably a college student that I'm speaking to. For me, it's still that childhood innocence that I'm speaking to my hero. And I love just enjoying the magic that I feel. Like, I can just go to Disney and I don't have to ride the rides. I can just speak to the characters, I can enjoy the food, and I can just watch families enjoy themselves.
That's true. The whole experience is so impressive. So, looking ahead, what do you think keeps Disney relevant and timeless even as the world changes?
Even as the world changes, there's always that beauty of the Disney magic is still there. A lot of people tend to disagree with that because Disney has had this whole thing with the sequels and live actions, quote unquote, destroying the Disney magic.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while that may be true in some sense, the fact is that for me, I love watching the live action movies because one, for the soundtracks. I mean, the music kind of wins the movies for me. Um, but I also remind myself that there's passion and there's people who genuinely love to put their hard work into these movies. And I know Disney has to undergo many changes to essentially win back a greater reputation in regards to their movies. But that Disney magic is still there because a lot of people use it to heal their inner childhood. Because a lot of people, they grow up having hard childhoods, and Disney helps rebuild their childhood when they go into adulthood. That's why you have Disney adults, because
Yes, I
um,
agree.
I mean, Disney adults, a lot of them are just people who have had rough childhoods or have not been able to experience that childhood magic. So they experience that in their adulthood, which is not a bad thing because adulthood, you're meant to live your life. You
Yes.
can balance being hardworking, but also having fun.
Yep, I agree. So before I'm gonna end up my podcast today, do you think that Disney movies have a very strong message? And during your experience or while you watching Disney movies, what message you get from the movies?
Well, the most recent one that I can think of that comes to mind is the movie Encanto. You see, Encanto doesn't have its black and white villain like the old movies do. Encanto focuses on generational trauma, and it focuses on how the newer generation can find a way to essentially break the cycle and break free, and finding a way to cope and heal with the trauma that's been passed down from generation to generation. In one of my favorite movies, the live action Cinderella 2015, which is considered by the entirety of the Disney movie, fan base, is that Cinderella 2015 was the best live action movie for Disney because it expanded on the characters and it brought more to the original story. But the beauty of Cinderella is that Cinderella, by the end of the movie, she doesn't hurt her stepsister. She doesn't hurt her stepmother. And you have to understand that at the end of the movie, she's gotten to a point where she marries the prince. She has the power to tell the prince all the abuse that she went through because of her stepsisters and stepmother. But she doesn't. She continues to remain kind even in the face of adversary and in the face of those who have hurt her. And I find that extremely inspiring, and that's why she's one of my childhood heroes. She constantly reminds me that I need to remain kind and always keep a smile on my face, even in my times of hardships.
Wow, that's a great point. Do you think that would you like to give any advice to my viewers who don't watch Disney movies or who think that Disney movies is more about like teenagers or for kids? Do you like to give any message to them?
I'd like to say when you approach the Disney movies or you approach the Disney parks, and yes, I understand that the prices to buy tickets to go to Disney is very expensive. I'd say when you watch the movies, don't focus on whether or not the movies, especially for the live actions, if they pay homage to the originals. Focus on your emotions and how you feel when you watch the movie. Focus on the music. What does the music do to you? Like, how much joy do you feel from the movie? For me, I enjoy all the movies. Like, I can never say, oh, I hate this Disney movie, because everyone has their own opinions. Everyone,
Yep,
approaches the Disney movies differently.
that's true.
But all I say is keep striving forward, keep being adventurous, keep welcoming the world with open arms. And remember, life is too short to say no.
Yes, I
Just
agree.
stay safe, but keep on adventuring on.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts today, Victoria. It's clearly that Disney's magic will continue for years to come. I'd like to thank you for coming to my podcast and sharing your insight with my viewers. I'm so happy to have you in my podcast today. Viewers, I hope today's topic is interesting because I believe like I used to watch Disney movies a lot, and because I have three sisters and they are biggest fan of Disney movies, especially the Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princess. So I watched that movie around like 5 or 10 times with them, and I really like the movies. It's not about you are teenager or you are kid or you are an adult. It's more about like what message you get from the movies, because Disney movies have such a strong message. If you watch any of the movie, it always bring a very strong message. It depend on you what you learn from the movie. Thank you so much for listening our podcast. Don't forget to subscribe my channel, like and comment. Till then, take care. Bye bye.
To infinity and beyond.